It's the big political mystery of the day. Will Sarah Palin show up at tonight's big Republican fundraiser, or won't she? Remember, initially, Governor Palin was supposed to be the headliner tonight. But after a mix-up with her staff, the fundraiser's organizers invited Newt Gingrich instead. Then last week, Palin said she would be in the lower 48 and available to attend the dinner, and she wanted to speak at the dinner. Well, there was another mix-up. Apparently, she's been told she cannot speak at the dinner tonight, and so she may not attend at all. Let's talk about what this all means. With me now live is Democratic strategist Dorian and Republican strategist Cheri Jacobus. All right, Cheri, there's a lot going on with the Republican Party right now. Is this an example of Newt Gingrich saying, I don't want to share the stage with Sarah Palin?
Yeah, I don't know if it's Newt Gingrich or maybe somebody at a lower level within the establishment. And I think that you underestimate Governor Palin at your own peril, whether you're in the media, whether you're a Democrat or the Obama White House, or whether you're part of the Republican establishment. Let's not forget what she did in Alaska with the Republican establishment. That's how she got her where she is politically. And this is a self-made woman who didn't come from a political family or from money and didn't marry into it. So if folks think that they want to nudge her aside and she's going to go quietly, I think they're wrong. She has a great deal of support. She definitely has a future, and I think they should make room for her.
I'm told that Newt Gingrich didn't know anything about this, but you've been around long enough to know that she was invited to be the headliner speaker. She said she wasn't available, so they invited Newt Gingrich. That was a flap a couple of months ago. Then she said, well, I'm going to be in town. They said, right, sure, come on by. And then she said, and I want to speak. And they said, well, wait a minute here. We've already got someone to speak. She wanted to just show up, be able to speak without helping with the fundraiser at all, as far as I understand it. Is that the way to gain friends inside the Republican Party?
Well, there's a couple of things going on here. First of all, you can make room for another speaker. Secondly, we do know that because Alaska is so far away from the lower 48, I know this, I have a brother who's been there for 18 years, I hardly ever see him. You do make those concessions, and she was our vice presidential nominee, so you make those concessions. You don't say, oh, we don't have room for it. So I suspect that it was not Newt Gingrich, but perhaps, again, somebody somewhat lower throughout the establishment. Folks who know that if Sarah Palin were to come into power, they might not have jobs, and I think we're seeing some of that going on. I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying that, but that's my read.
I know. Well, Dorian, so what about that? So Cheri's now blaming it on some mid or lower level staffer, but what does that say about the staff in the Republican Party?
You know, Cheri's right about one thing. It doesn't matter who's responsible for this. This is indicative of the broader disarray within the Republican Party. They could have easily made room for her. This would be like disinviting Barack Obama after his 2004 DNC speech in favor of Joe Lieberman. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And it's, again, a broader example of the incredible disarray within the Republican Party right now.
I think it's a disarray that's helpful, though, because I think that this leaves room to clean it up. And at this point, you know, you can clear out some of the mess. Sarah Palin has a great deal of support. Those folks will be very vocal.
Let me ask you both, of course, about Palin's staff, because some people have criticized them for making a lot of blunders. Well, today, Palin, her attorney, is denying a charge that she plagiarized Newt Gingrich in a recent speech introducing Michael Reagan. That speech was written probably by a speechwriter. But what about that, Cheri, now that she's being accused of lifting lines from Newt Gingrich?
I think that you're going to see Sarah Palin accused of a whole lot of things, and she's going to survive it just fine, and it's going to make her stronger. Look, there are so many speeches given, and the bios are pretty much the same wherever you go. It's possible that a speechwriter lifted something that sounded similar, and you can look at anybody, any politician in this country, and you can find it. You can find it with Barack Obama. You can find it with Michael Steele. You can find it with any member of Congress. So I think it sounds like there might be some knives out for her. I think there are some people within the Republican Party that consider her a threat. I think she is a threat. I think she could be president. I think she could be a threat to Barack Obama. People might be ready for her plain spokenness and kind of ready to get rid of the teleprompter.
Cheri Jacobus.
I think plagiarism is actually unacceptable. I think it's, again, an indication that the GOP is out of good ideas, so they have to keep stealing from each other. If any of my students plagiarize, they would fail my classes. This is unacceptable, and I wish the Republican Party luck in coming up with some brand new original ideas.
It was in an introduction, so I think that when you look at someone's bio, a lot of introductions are going to sound very, very similar. So I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Dorian and Cheri Jacobus, great to have both of you. Thanks so much for joining us.